This is You, Me, and BTC, episode 266, your regular Thursday night entertainment, the only place to be at a time like this. We've been doing it for about 3 years straight. Even when I'm gone, Tim picks it up, and that's what we do. Thursday nights, 9 to 10 p.m. Eastern. Thanks for joining us. I am Daniel Brown, and I'm here with
Tim Baker, the wonderful keep together
Tim
guy.
Baker.
Make me feel bad.
All right, guys, check it out. We got a great story, great headline story today. You can tell it's been a wild Bitcoin news week. Here it goes, guys. Zack tweets the crappiest Bitcoin ATM chart you've ever seen. So that's coming up today, guys. Aren't you excited? No, okay. We'll have a real story too. We'll get to that, and who knows? As always, as every week, if you've been here before, you know how this goes. We laugh, we talk about whatever, we hate each other, we make fun of each other, we make fun of you, and who knows where we're going to end up. I can't make any promises, and I've been saying lately, because just as a form of clarification, I've been saying that the show notes often don't even matter because I write them before the show, and then the show happens, and they're not always the same. Guys, the place to be tonight. Let me crank up my screen share here if I can. This is, as usual, you, me, and BTC.com/live. That'll take you straight to our landing page every Thursday, 9 to 10 p.m. Eastern. Or actually, it stays that way all week until the next week. So if you're listening later, you can, within the next week, that you, me, and BTC.com/live will get you here. If you're listening way in the future, I like to remind people how our other links work, our short links. If you're listening way in the future, you can get to this by going to you, me, and BTC.com/E266. That's the letter E266. And that'll get you here too. So this is video. Chat, jump in the chat if you like. We pretty much read anything that comes through there, and so you can get your thoughts on the airwaves by dropping in the chat. You got some show notes. Like I said, they don't always matter, but they're there. Links to this wicked, wild, terrible Bitcoin ATM tweet that some loser tweeted out this morning, and our poll. If you want to vote in our poll, I guess you got to click on it to vote on it. I've never done like a poll and a quoted tweet in the same tweet, so you might have to click on it to vote, but whatever. There's that at the bottom. Make sure you vote in our poll, which is also about this crazy wild chart. So Zack's supposed to be here tonight, or no, not supposed to. He said he thought he would be here, and that's the last I heard. So we'll see if he shows up. Hopefully mid rampage. We're just I hope we're decimating him and he tunes in and starts to cry. We'll see if that happens. But I've been talking a lot now, out of breath already. So how about this, guys? Before we get into this week's top story, coming soon to a YouTube stream near you. Let's just kick off with this, Tim. How's it going?
Yeah, Daniel, you don't normally ask. That feels good to hear that you.
No, I'm just doing it to make it look like a good show. I don't actually care.
Oh, well, okay then. I don't feel that great then. This makes me feel terrible now. Thank you, Daniel. I really do appreciate all of this. You're such a great person.
Did you have a good Halloween?
I mean,
did you go trick or treating?
No, I have never gone trick or treating ever in my life.
Well, now that explains Tim. I get it now.
It explains certain things about how I am. The kind of just initial, why are you guys having fun over there? What is this? What are you doing? Quit doing that. That's silly. Whenever I was a kid, I always went to my church's fall family fun fest because of alliteration. And this is not a lie. I used to crawl around in a cardboard maze made by some random guy in there. Take from that what you will. But no, I mean, the Halloween wasn't bad. I've been drinking more now just because people are like, let's go wander around the city. And I'm like, yeah, sure. But I don't really get social whenever I drink. I talk more, but I don't get social. And I actually probably get more disturbed by people not disturbed, but just kind of like I like to drink and then just like look around as other people's nights just kind of fall apart and kind of just enjoy that.
Oh
But as
man.
far as the Halloween, I did participate in it ever since I've moved into my new apartment. I've participated in it here, and participating, I put out one of those boxes of snack pack chips. And then
Nice.
put the please take
Take
one.
one only.
Yeah, well, I went to the bar down the street from me yesterday and got food, then came back about a half hour later and the entire box was gone. So some motherfucker out here decided to take
Oh
all
man.
of the white cheddar popcorn, which I was looking forward to. So fuck you, sir. Um,
That always
besides that,
annoys Tim. People steal his candy and then you get Tim.
yeah, no, this is why I'm like this. It's not my fault.
All right. So got that out of the way. Now it looks like we're friends, so we can continue this show. Tim, did you happen to look at this tweet when Zack implored us to come to his aid?
I think I saw it before. I don't know if he implored us to come to his aid because I definitely wasn't going to do that. But I did. I think I saw it already, and then some guy was like, "This is dumb." And then wait, let me see. Okay, no, I didn't even see it was this many people. You hereby banished from ever publishing a data visualization again. I mean, I didn't read all of these. I honestly I don't understand anybody who gets angry at charts online because I don't think I've ever seen a chart online that I wasn't like, yeah, this is probably skewed
Makes
towards a different.
perfect sense. Yeah, you're
Well,
right.
they just there's no like, oh yeah, this is definitely correct. I'm like, I have no idea, so I don't I don't know. I don't even know what this even is supposed to be telling me exactly.
I don't know
Uh,
either. I
it
can't
just goes what?
even like offline, like in our private little group chat, even there I can't tell if Zach is joking or if he actually thinks this is like an interesting chart. So it's not just like a Twitter thing. Like I legitimately, I don't know. Like maybe he's like actually like, hey guys, check this out. Like the number. Okay, so for anyone listening to the podcast, first of all, get your life in order and get to our website and watch the video. But if you are listening to just the podcast, the way it basically goes on this chart here is it's there's two lines on this chart. One of the lines is fiat ATMs, and the other line is Bitcoin ATMs. And the time range is from 2013 to 2018. And basically, what happens is in that time range, the fiat ATM line is relatively level. It just increases a little bit. But the Bitcoin ATM line just rockets all the way up and just about meets the. It starts at 0 in 2013, and then it rockets all the way up and comes real close to touching the fiat ATM line by the time it gets to 2018. So when you look at this chart, you're like, holy cow, Bitcoin's taken off. It is almost as many Bitcoin ATMs as there are fiat ATMs. Like, oh, this is it. We're making it, guys. It's real stuff. And then then you realize there are two axes on the chart. The fiat axis, basically, over that time range, the fiat ATMs are increasing from about 3 million fiat ATMs up to about, I don't know, almost 4 million fiat ATMs. Whereas the Bitcoin line has a completely different axis and it increases over this time range. It increases in reality. The lines look like they're about to touch, but in reality, the Bitcoin line increases from 0 to, get this. Remember, the fiat line went from 3 million to 4 million. The Bitcoin line is going from 0 to 3.5 thousand. So it's missing a few zeros is the bottom line there. So yeah, people ripped him up for it, and I I told him, first thing I said is like, "Oh crap, I wish I wish
Yeah,
people hated my tweets this much, then I might
yeah.
actually have people interact with me."
It's much nicer to be hated than to be forgotten. So I also share your pain there. Exactly. It's the way of charting. There's just so many people who have gone to so many classes about charts. That's probably what annoys me the most about this is, all these people. My professor one time said that I know how to do this exactly because I paid 60 grand to have someone tell me what an appropriate chart was.
I followed up with a hand-drawn image, which is probably really hard to read because my handwriting sucks in the first place, and then I was trying to, like, draw this on my phone. But it says I basically replicated the chart, and the one line is, like, the percent of people that hate Zack, and it stays at 100%.
Just
And
always.
the other line, which approaches that line, it approaches the 100% line. It says the percent of people that hate Dan. But in reality, when you check the axis, it's only, and this is real. This chart's actually real. The percent of people that hate Dan is 0.00001. So 100% of people hate Zack, and a tiny fraction of a percent of people hate Dan. And this is a real chart, so you're welcome.
There you go, guys. Just right from Daniel. He gives you the truth.
Yeah, there is that. Anyway, what else we got here? I mean, yeah, the whole time. This is why I can't tell if Zack's joking. Like, people like rip on him, and he's like, "No, I think it's a pretty good chart." And then someone's like, "This makes no sense." And Zack is like, "Look a little more carefully. It'll make sense." Like, numbers don't lie. Feel free to recreate the chart if you don't like it. And anyway, yeah. So that's our story for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.
So there you go, guys. Everything about Zack you want to know, and he's not even here. Well, no, I mean, if he was here, we wouldn't be attacking him as much. So I do kind of understand that.
Why wouldn't I would rip him to shreds? Why would you wouldn't?
No, Dan, like, well, one, I'm definitely nicer than you are. That's one thing. But also, I'm just Daniel.
That up with evidence because that makes sense. Can I please see a chart showing me that?
Yeah, no, right here. It's like that. The two axes they start to cross right wherever Daniel gets told to go fuck himself. No, I mean, I miss you, Zack. I want you to come back, but we will shit on you when you come back. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, like I guess this is also, it's not just the colleges, it's also the fact that probably a bunch of these people kind of just stare at charts all day and then they go, this doesn't make sense. But I can't really fault Zack. I mean,
Stuff.
He can't be like this can't be the worst thing that they saw posted today. Like these people, like this can't be the big thing where, like, wait a second, I let all this other stuff go by.
Hold on, come on, Twitter, you can do better than that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, right. Like, go after something else. Don't make Zack feel bad about himself.
Do make him feel bad about himself, but do that by not responding to his tweets. Don't interact with him. That's not helping anything. Make him feel terrible by ignoring him and just, silently shoving him off.
See, Daniel's going right for the throat right now. He really does not like this.
Holy cow. I just clicked on Zack's profile and it says he has 16 tweets ever. So apparently he just did the old whitewash. Afraid of his past and goodbye.
Said no more.
I should have archived.
I was wondering
black market. I should have sold all of his old tweets on the black market.
You still could. I was wondering why I hadn't seen anything of his pop up recently. Like, I normally get I normally get notifications anytime he texts or anytime he tweets. I'm sorry. Now it's just about charts and then big fans. He really likes big fans. Bearbox.io.
Yeah.
Rugged mobile Bitcoin mining infrastructure for North America. Nice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think if I had archives, I would, find out who's trying to employ him, and just I guess I would blackmail Zack. Maybe I should just tell him I have archives.
You could do that, or you could just tell him that you're going to show that his future employers a picture of whatever the chart is supposed to be. Do that. He probably would be more afraid of that. I don't know that I don't remember Zack tweeting too much, like, really not offensive wouldn't even be the right word, but like divisive. Like he had a few people. One of the times when you were gone, we actually went through a few people that had blocked him on Twitter, and that was also whenever I finally like realized how much of a lawyer Zack is, because he was like explaining arguments he'd had with these people, and they're like, they just don't understand because under this article here. I'm like, Zack, that's because they're not thinking of it like that. And then he started. I was like, you probably like A Few Good Men. He's like, I love that movie. I'm like, oh, 12. I just listed a bunch of lawyer movies. Like, those are the best. I love those so much.
To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah. Better Call Saul. He's like, dude, this is crazy.
I am going to drop a quick. We're going to get into our next story in a second here. We're going to cover some John McAfee a little bit and his bid for the 2020, presidential election. Speaking of elections, that's coming up. Get out there and vote, kids. But
yeah, no, Snapchat hasn't told me enough. Did we talk about that last week at all? Or I might have been talking with somebody else.
I don't know.
It's literally everything is just say, hey, do you remember you need to vote? And it's like, why do you want me to do like I'm looking at this Snapchat. The other stories on here about how Cardi B is pregnant, maybe. I'm not even sure who Cardi B is. I just know the name. And then you're telling me, hey, yep, you need to vote. Get out there and do your duty.
That's a good question. Like, what is in it for them? Like, because I saw the same thing on like Facebook and Twitter. Like, what's in it for Facebook and Twitter? Like, are they just, is it because like everyone thinks it's so noble, then they respect Facebook for encouraging people to do that? Or is it because the more people vote, the more controversy there is, which means the more they use social media? Like, what's in it for them?
I'm pretty sure it's mostly just because
It seems noble.
yeah, it seems noble right now. It's back to where you can like it's weird because like everyone's like this Trump is he's lashing out everybody, he's destroying everybody. We are the resistance, and the people printing that are like the New York Times and these things like we're being downtrodden by the political system that's tearing us apart. So it's cool again. It's the same like with the Ben and Jerry's. Did you buy any of the new Ben and Jerry's flavor yet?
No,
They haven't. No, okay, I'll find a picture.
Wait. Just
What?
last week we talked about how like I don't even notice when new movies come out. And all of a sudden you're like, "Hey, did you check out this ice cream flavor?"
Yeah, it's this new ice cream flavor. It's crazy. It's great. No, but it's called Resistance Pecan or something like that. I saw a tweet earlier today. I saw this a couple days ago. Yeah, Ben and Jerry's launches new Resistance theme ice cream. It just has a picture of. I guess they're all women. There's I think a Hispanic lady, a black lady, and a white lady, and they're just holding a thing that says resist. The what is it? Pecan resist. Then I saw a tweet today where it was an old Simpsons episode where it was some kind of dumb play on words on that on a Ben and Jerry's thing. But it's kind of it's kind of cool. It's fashionable to go how down or we're going to resist the government. We don't care about laws. But then also there's like Ben and Jerry's. It's kind of known that the guys that run those are pretty liberal, but the tech people like Facebook, Snapchat, they all kind of do have that same liberal bent, but not in the same way that like I think where the Ben and Jerry's are kind of like they're corporate still, but they're kind of like older style hippies. But like tech companies and tech heads, I think do see themselves as kind of we need to direct how these people think because we are in a very powerful position. And don't you guys
I know
remember
that without a
Spider-Man?
doubt. I know that they want to direct,
Why?
how people think. The
Why?
thing that gets me is that they're not telling you which way to vote. They're just telling you to vote. Maybe they assume that the majority of people that see that will be like left leaning. And so they're like, well, if we just tell people to vote, we should probably get a bunch of Democrats to vote. And so maybe that's what they think is in it for them. Like Snapchat, I'm sure is majority liberal. So maybe they think it'll help them because of that.
Most people look at younger people as being predominantly liberal. I'm not sure how true that is. I mean, it has seemed like that's true in the past. Somebody in the chat made the thing of,
I
yes,
don't
voting is virtuous. It's good.
I don't
It's like
know
the
if we're being trolled there or what. Either either they've never watched our show before or he's just trolling us.
It's like when Puff Daddy or Puff Diddy or whatever his name was, or whatever it was at that time, he did there was a song he put out like years ago called Vote or Die, where I get the point is like, oh, if you don't vote, then other people will ruin you or something like that. But there's always been this kind of, like they said in the chat, voting is virtuous. It just hasn't been okay to do that since like Snapchat has gotten really big. I mean, Facebook's been around because Facebook was around when Bush was still president, but I don't remember. But I don't think that Snapchat and like Instagram stories, I don't remember those being big back before Obama was president. As soon as Obama was president, the kind of predominant attitude of most people was, yes, we need to if you're against this man, you're a traitor, and you should be shouted down. You should be called a racist for hating him. And we need to respect everything he does. That the rule of law is the greatest thing that we have, and the power of democracy is what we need. But in a we need to keep things the way they are. So it wasn't so much a we need new voters, because that's also what comes up on a lot of these, is them going, only 1 in 8 people under the age of what are registered to vote. The current administration wants that to stay the same. You need it's like this, you're gonna fight against the bad guys by doing that. And I was looking at this recently because somebody brought it up. It's that like the voting day is near, and I was like, well, wait, when is this? And then I was looking at the different dates, and they're like, well, it's November 7th, but you have to register by October 9th, or you could do a write-in ballot by October 30th. And then one guy I'm talking to was like, well, I registered before. Am I allowed to vote? I'm like, pretty sure you are. I've never looked into it, but because you're voting and you don't know, this is another case where you probably shouldn't be voting if you don't know about this stuff. But no, people wear the dumb stickers. My cousin was real, but he's also taken a picture with like one of the pussy hats from the Women's March. But he would take like take the sticker and take a picture and go, I did my part today. And it's like, what are you talking about? Your dumb little vote was more worthless than anything I've ever done in my life. And I've done plenty of things. Well, I can't go that far, but it was not some great thing. You're not doing anything for anybody. You're just going, man, I'm an adult now. Adulting's hard. This is very difficult. But yeah, I don't know. That's the only thing I can really think of, is to like why they're pushing that. I think it is an easy way to. Okay, here, this might make a little bit more sense. It's an easy way to push a kind of, we need to take back the system part without going out of the way and alienating like conservative people. Like conservative people use Snapchat and Instagram. The thing coming up about how, oh, well, we need to register to vote. Unless you are saying the current administration would like to keep it this way. The kind of the sentence of, you need to get out and get to vote, don't forget to vote, isn't really an attack. It's not going to be that off-putting to where people are like, I'm going to boycott this or whatever, which is dumb in itself too. But I'll use one of the like one of the left's terms. It's a liberal dog whistle that people that young people hear whenever they realize they need to be change. But yeah, I don't know. Social media has also just become a way of doing political grandstanding. Like, to me, obviously this isn't for the average person, but for a celebrity or even somebody of any kind of a note inside of a group or a movement, just putting something on Instagram is way more powerful than your actual vote. And that's kind of weird. That's kind of a different talk we could get into as to how much you should be able to influence people. But the social media, besides like actually affecting political change, like a lot of people, there was the shooting in Pittsburgh this past weekend. I don't know
Oh yeah.
how many social media posts like minutes after, an hour after, were just about like how terrible this was and how their thoughts are with everybody. And it's like, okay, what then? I don't know, go do something. Like go. They had like a blood drive. Go do that. But like most people's, I'm going to do something good for today is just I'm going to take a picture and I'm going to shout at, like, it's like people are doing a shout out, but it's not a program. They're not shouting out on anything that people should be specifically listening to. They just have a couple hundred people that they know from college or school or because they fucked them, and everybody goes, "Yep, like that. Yep, I like it. You're a good guy." So that's really, I think they're going to lean into this. I don't remember, was Snapchat even big? No,
Oh boy. I mean,
when did
that's
that
been
start?
6 years maybe.
Yeah,
Six?
first thing
No, 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 more than
Snapchat, and the
that.
first thing comes
Like
is Snapchat
7, yeah,
vote.
6 or 7 years. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Release date was 2011 September.
So like exactly 7 years. There you
Yeah.
go. Yeah. So hey, I was gonna, man. There you go. There you have it. Tim's monologue on voting. I I think you're right. It's probably a combo of it looks noble, but it also works in their favor because the majority of their people that see that kind of a vote today message are probably liberal. So like it looks good to everyone, even the right. That's more so probably the right. The right's like, oh yes, go and vote, please. And then so the right then starts to love Facebook for doing that, and then the left is most of their, what's the word, their victims, or I mean
Demographic.
users. Most of their users are lefties, so then they get, they get that to lean that way. Hey guys, the place to be. I started this plug like 20 minutes ago, but that's okay because it's I don't mind rapping on social media and voting. But hey, the place to be. We have a troll box, so make sure you use it. It's at meandbtc.com/live. We've already been trolled. Someone in there is like, voting is virtuous. And so there is that. Yeah.
Voting's cool, guys.
I did see an ad. Oh man, it made me laugh. it was a
That's
it was a it was a hardcore lefty ad, of course, but I laughed because it was pretty clever, first of all. It was funny, but also it made me like not even want to vote like with the left. Like if I was inclined to vote, like all they did was point out how I probably would lean towards the right instead of the left. So like they didn't even get me to agree with them, but it was pretty clever. Uh it was on Hulu, I think, and it was basically just all these old people like almost like threatening you like if you don't vote, like they're just saying all this stuff like of course I want tax cuts for the rich. I'm super rich. Or like, yeah, what do I care about the climate? I'll be dead in 10 years. Or like, so I what do I care about school shootings? I haven't been in a school
yeah.
for 50 years. So I'll go out and vote the way I want to vote and I don't care. Like none of these issues matter to me. I'll just get rich and get control. And they're like, we all vote. The young people don't vote, but we all vote and we will be there every election. So it's like threatening them. Like if you don't go vote, all this terrible stuff's gonna happen.
But that's like old people aren't just like a blanket conservative vote. There's a lot of old people who say, no, don't take my things. I deserve all these money for nothing. Not that conservatives don't do that, but conservatives normally stick more. Actually, conservatives more do argue for like Medicare. I forget which one's out, like an age thing, which one's which, but and then for veterans, which they don't give them. But yeah, this is both sides, both ads that are both sides that run ads. It's always just a straw man. it's always like the Republican one is just like Connor. I'm thinking of this one because Connor Lamb is, I don't even know what he is here. I just keep seeing him popping up. There's a, he wants to murder your babies and steal your Bible, and then the liberal ones, like, they think that AR-15 should be fired at children indiscriminately, especially if they're brown. But it's all kind of stupid, and it's so childish that when you see people putting it up, you're just like, why are you not like, you can, how mature is this? How
That's a
mature
good
is
point.
this of what we're
That
doing?
childish is a great word. Like it's like in high school when we would vote for student president, and it was like all they did was like put up a poster or like 10 posters in the hallway that just said, with their like the picture of their face, and it's like, vote for me. It's like, great,
That
thank
guy's
you.
ugly. We'll
Yeah.
give you, we'll give you longer lunch periods. Can you do that? No, but shut up. Just
Yeah.
like with this.
Yeah. It is so, but honestly, you're right. Childish is such a good word because none of it is even reasonable. Like you drive down the road and see like 40 names on these
Yeah.
giant signs on the side of the road, but none of it means anything. All they want to do is just get your attention. Or like the best, like the best case scenario, they might say like, oh, I don't even know. Like none of them say anything useful. All they have is a giant name on them. So I can't even come up with an example of like what they might say
No,
on it. Like
they
we
don't say
love
anything.
school, like something dumb, like we love your children, or like we love the school, support the schools, or something random like that. It's like, okay, thank you. So now I'm gonna vote for you.
Well, yeah, no, it's those yards that have like 15 of the same sign just lined up along the front of them. But speaking of this, also I saw recently, because Obama has to continue his speech giving tour that he, whatever he does for money now. He's like, listen to President Obama destroy 10 lies about why voting doesn't matter. I didn't watch it, of course, but there's this smugness to, again, this is on both sides, but especially the liberal kind of, it's with I mean, what both of them are doing, which is just propaganda. Like, this isn't a thing where I don't understand people who won't admit that. I'm fine with propaganda. I'm fine with you. I mean, you have to have a lean to one way. You have to kind of want to take people's, like, we just, as social creatures, we manipulate people around us, try to get them to think the way we want to so we can have things. But the ads are always like, those people over there only think of themselves. How dare they? That's not how a democracy is supposed to. Yes, it's like, that's exactly how a democracy is supposed to work, you dumb fuck. And then it's like, we consider you. And then it's always, the ads are always just them going back. If it's a local thing, it's always them going back and forth about how much money the other one wasted. And it's like, oh, this is where all the taxes go, is because you gave 50 million to some guy who then ran to Barbados, and then the next guy lost it in a gambling con or something. So
Speaking of all the money they waste, I work in media. I know how much ads cost, and I know how much the cost of ads increases around elections. And that's not even mentioning like travel time or travel expenses and, dinners that these candidates throw.
oh
Like if
yeah,
you really want to help the poor, just arrest all the politicians because they're all illegal anyway. Arrest them all, seize their assets, and give it to the poor if that's what you really want to do.
no, there was some video the lady did. Yes, no, you are Gabriel. You are right, Gabriel. The attack ones where they're just like, he's talking about the attacked ads being the best, where it's, they show the opponent and then all of a sudden it goes gray and then there's like red lettering about we did.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, all the money they waste. There was some lady made a video, and I don't know who it was, some sender or something, but she was like, women face tougher trials on the campaign trail. I've spent thousands of dollars on my hair, and I was like, what? Shut up! Why are you, shut up, you bitch, you rich bitch. Why are you telling me this? Give me the money, please.
I only saw like one tweet like days ago about that, but yeah, I laughed a lot. Oh man. Well, hey, I guess yeah, that was a good intermission, and it I guess it's somewhat on par, on track with our the story we were getting to, which I told you, John McAfee is running for president. Huh. I wonder. I think they got his name wrong. Yeah, in the title they spelled it wrong, I believe. Anyway, this is from Cointelegraph, so apparently they suck. They can't even get his name right. But yeah, so this is luckily not happening yet. Luckily, we have we'll get a breather after the next week or two, and then it's like, oh my gosh, the GOP kept the Senate. Oh, I don't know, Tim. Do you think that I don't even know what the status is. I don't know what the numbers are for like what the current like who has the Senate and who has the House. So I'm not asking for an educated guess here because I don't know anything and I don't really care. But just for kicks, like what's your opinion? You think the right's going to come out happy or the left is going to come out happy in about a week?
I mean, we can have all the Snapchat things. We can have all the pushes by celebrities to go. You need to get out there. I don't see the people doing this. The only times I ever hear political discussions are when people are drunk and then they start. Well, you just need to figure this out, and all the bad things need to stop happening. We just need to make a law and it'll stop. But my feeling is that it's probably going to be the right is going to be happy just because it seems I feel dumb because I'm simplifying, I feel like, but then at the same time, I feel like, no, it might just be this simple where we just kind of go in swings. We go back and forth from the right and left. And then each time I mean, they always call each other Nazis and communists, like going back to Clinton, back to Bush. They had pictures of them with a Hitler mustache.
For our entire life, all we've ever seen is presidents like two-term Democrat, two-term Republican, two-term Democrat. That's for our entire life. That's all we've ever seen.
We're lazy. We're like, well, we might as well try them again. We'll see what happens.
And then they're like, all right, well, we have to switch, so let's really switch. Like, oh, whatever.
That's because the status quo is so boring and like so like we can complain about how much Trump is making America so much worse, but for the average person, it's so minimal that people aren't really worried about it. Doesn't seem like you have like the some people protesting, but then there's an almost equal amount of people who are counter protesting. So and then the people in the middle are kind of just well, I mean, the last guys didn't do something well, so let's try different. I think I feel like the kind of the young people of the right, like the conservative Trump supporting people, are more active or activized or incentivized just to actually, or like incentivized to go out and vote, would actually try to do that more. Again, I don't know, but I would bet more that the Republicans will take whatever it is, whether it's the House or I don't really remember, but I see that happening, and then nothing really like that. All the people who are going to vote for the Republicans to take the House are going to vote because they promise certain things. Those aren't going to happen. And all the liberals who vote against it happening are going to vote for reasons that never happen either. So it's not really going to affect much in the end.
Yeah, I feel you there.
Yeah. And then next week, there's just the entire just massacre happening. I'm like, yeah, I mean, I was wrong. I'll admit that. I'll admit that things got worse.
Things got worse. Oh, geez. I hope not. I hope that. Anyway, there's John McAfee. Every time we talk about him, we argue about how you say his name, but whatever. Yeah. Anyway, that's the story. The story is that's not the story. We didn't give you the story yet. Here it comes. The story is that yes, he does plan to run for president in 2020, which I guess he technically ran in 2016, I mean, he didn't get very far, but I mean, he was in the race for the Libertarian Party. But the main story is his goal is to just in the election, just all he's going to do is promote Bitcoin. Like he obviously doesn't want to get elected. He hopes he won't. And that's not his goal by any stretch. All he wants to do is promote crypto. Now remember, this is the guy that said something like $250,000 Bitcoin by maybe 2020. I don't know, by 2025 or something. I don't know. But he's calling $250,000 Bitcoin and promises to eat his junk if that does not happen on live television if it doesn't hit that price point. So, all right. Kudos to this guy for having some balls, at least for now. We'll see if he keeps them. But yeah, I don't know, Tim. So I think I remember talking with you about this in general. I don't remember if it was on the show. The whole idea of someone running without planning to get elected, like first of all, before we even talk about Bitcoin and his plans for that, what do we think about running for without actually trying to get elected? Like, is that a decent way to get attention? Is it just obnoxious? Any thoughts on that? Like, no matter what you're trying to promote, that's not Bitcoin or that's not being the president. Like, if you're not actually trying to be president, what's the status? Are you just being annoying, or is it like, all right, yeah, see what you can do?
I would be annoyed by it if I cared about voting, probably. I don't. The only thing
Yeah,
that's
like all
annoying
those
to,
people that are like, oh, if you don't vote for Trump, you're voting for
yeah,
Hillary.
a vote. If an independent vote is a vote for the party that I don't like, so that means you shouldn't do that. Because again, this is how democracy works. It's always this is how democracy works. You don't understand how it works, though, man. But I would get if I get annoyed, it's more at the people who are like, I need a fundraiser and I need you to give me money because we're gonna make a difference here. And not annoyed, more just like I wish I had that kind of clout that I could just get people to give me money to go run for office. But McAfee, I don't. Did he say he's going to need to do that, or is he kind of just planning on just using all of his
All right.
way too much money?
I don't know. I did skim though, so before I forget, his prediction was $1 million Bitcoin by 2020. Holy cow. We'll see. But yeah, in terms of I think he's got plenty of money. I don't think he needs to raise very much. I mean, I'm sure he'll try, and mostly from libertarians, and that's that. And some people will give it, but I don't think he's going to be like huge on the fundraising. Like, he's got plenty of money.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything in there about him talking about that, about like needing to raise the money. So I mean, it's that this isn't annoying to me at all. I remember I specifically I was thinking about like Adam Kokesh talking about running for something.
Oh,
I mean,
that's what I
he's
remember.
actually run for something before, but the president thing, I was like, yeah, I don't really know how.
That's what I remember. I said a minute ago that I remember kind of covering this sort of topic with you before. That's exactly what it was. It was Adam Kokesh, and we had a discussion about, like, would you vote for him? Like, are you glad he's running? So let's do that again. Like, what's your status on that too?
Um,
It sounded like you think it's just kind of dumb.
yeah, again, like I'm fine with him doing it, but I don't have a particular good place in my heart for professional activists. It kind of seems to take away from the whole threat of activism whenever, like, literally any attention you get is good because it just it kind of furthers your cause. Uh, as far as the
Hold
specifically
on though. You freaking love Chris Cantwell though.
no, I mean, especially not recently, but I liked his article. I liked that he was willing after like a I just like that he was a contrarian. That was most of it. Just the fact that it, like he would just go out and be like, yeah, good, a cop got shot. Like, and not even that I necessarily agree with that sentiment of actually being happy that someone was killed, but just the
Boldness.
different voice. Yeah,
Yeah.
but the boldness, and then also just the like that's
No,
the
I
kind
don't
of
know though. I
bold,
don't know if you can say that because it's not really boldness. It's like you said, and all attention is good attention for a guy like that. So he's not really being bold. He's just trying to get attention, doing his job. Maybe that's the theory. I don't know.
yeah. I mean, I thought Cantwell had like an actual he was a comedian for a little bit, I think. Now I don't, is he in prison?
Oh, he was for a
He got
while because of
arrested.
those. Yeah,
Yeah,
what was it? The
Charlotte.
freaking white power riots or whatever.
Yeah,
What were
it was
what
the
they call those people? The alt right and like Antifa riots or something. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, it was in Charlottesville because it's some the lady got hit with the car, and then they started to just prosecute anybody who had been like fighting with their fists, which I didn't really agree with, but I get why they do it. But yeah, I mean, you make a good point about it. Like it doesn't really mean that much. I just kind of, like I said, I like that he would be like, if a guy, because I don't remember the exact stories, but I remember like they'd come out like some guy would just walk down the street and just started shooting police officers, and he's like, yeah, he would make the point, and Cantwell was the guy who, I think it was a Facebook page, but it was also the brutalist libertarian, because I mean, you're making me remember that I did like Cantwell, and I kind of feel bad as to where things went afterwards, because he was out in
Keen, yeah.
Keenes, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
Keenes,
yeah.
and that it's like all the rest of them are like the guys that Adam Kokesh had on his show as interns, and they're all kind of just like, yeah, like this, and I just think that like money shouldn't go to killing people, and then like, but then if they start talking about like actual libertarian policies or libertarian concepts, they start sounding like Kathy Reisenwitz or what was the one guy's name? Derek. He did the
Eric
YouTube thing.
J. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
the whatever crime spree thing, where it just kind of boiled down to, I like to smoke pot, and it's bad if you make me stop. And then they'd be like, hey, but Cantwell, if a little girl comes onto your property without your permission, does that mean you have the right to murder her? And he'd be like, yeah, yeah, the right, but that does that mean I have like, if we're looking at property right, like he was the only one that wanted to actually look at something as concrete, because everybody wants to always play semantics with rights, in that, well, if it's a right, you have to do it or something like that. So I just liked him for being in that kind of culture of just potheads, and just, although I did lose a lot of respect with him then when there was a video of him, some he walked up to an argument, which uh never do this, never walk up to an argument between a man and a woman, if and then be like, hey, leave her alone, because more than likely the woman's been like, you mind your fucking own business, like, go, they're not going to like it either. But then those two people started following him. He pulled his gun, and he had like a camera on, and he's just like shrieking, like it's kind of how I would imagine, probably, definitely Daniel, probably myself, reacting to that kind of situation. But just the kind of tough guy attitude that he puts out there, kind of made me go, okay, man, like this is and then he calls the police, and he's like, thank you so much for being here. Thank you. I was so scared.
I don't know, man. I might call you out there. I want to say maybe we even covered this on the show. So maybe there's archives out there somewhere. I'll recruit our army of listeners to find them. I want to say that we were both pretty happy with what he did there, where he was willing, despite all that he'd been through. He didn't actually call the cops; they just showed up in the middle of this incident. But the fact that he was, he was carrying, he could have shot this guy that was like approaching him like in a threatening manner, and he didn't. But he was really like in control, like he was in control of the situation, like or not so much in control, but he did the absolute best you can do, which is like, listen, I don't want to shoot you, but you're approaching me like obviously in a much louder, like you said, shouting at him like this, stop right now, this is bad. And then, like you said, the police showed up, and I think both of us also kind of respected him for being willing to like talk to them and work with them, even though he had that reputation of hating them. I think we both felt like it was like it was respectable. Everything that happened was respectable. It was a good what's the word? A good sign, no, a good impression maybe of carry people that carry weapons. It was a good it showed that like just because you're a libertarian doesn't mean you're going to kick a cop in the face. It 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 seemed like relatively like a good impression of what everything he was trying to do. I know a lot's changed since then, and he went off the deep end and all that. But I might call you out and see, maybe there is a show. I want to say we both kind of liked what went down there, but I could be wrong.
I can't really argue with that. There's nothing wrong with what he did. I just, especially, I don't know. Maybe I thought that he did call the cops or something. That was why I'm armchair commentating. Like I'm not going to have any better reaction. Like if somebody was, well, I'd be screaming everything I thought that I could to make them stop coming towards me. So yeah, I mean, I like I said, I feel kind of bad. I mean, I don't feel bad, but I don't like how things turned out with him. Again, I guess it does depend on where he is now. I think he got like he got pushed out kind of because of him being very kind of contrarian to the people around him. So he got pushed to. I'm kind of making a defense of this now, but there's something to be said where people who uh, want to get on a moral high ground about every single issue and be like, how could you even think that? I was like, well, we all kind of agree on a non-aggression principle, but that beyond that, defense is not bad. Like, yeah, but like you should think of this as better. And it a lot of I think the stuff around where he was living boiled down to it was a lot of like very, very left leaning libertarians. Um and then in to kind of go against that, like if you're around somebody that annoys you or kind of bothers you that way, there is a tendency to then go to the other side. Like even if you aren't super into that at first, you then kind of go, well, this pisses them off, so let me at least look at it. And he kind of went the way of Stefan Molyneux.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
remember like years ago him talking about getting real into following Molyneux before Molyneux went full. We need to elect Trump to enforce a white ethno state. But yeah,
Man.
I guess I wish them all the best. Or I don't hate them. I don't hate. I mean, I obviously don't hate Cantwell. How did we start talking? Oh, like professional activists. Um, yeah, I don't see a lot of the stuff as being that noble. I guess I'll just go back to that. There's not that much sacrifice, which might not be required, but I like to see some kind of a sacrifice with something. Like if
That's
someone
fair. That's fair. Like, yeah, if you have as much money as John McAfee, like, what? Yeah, you're right. Like, you're not sacrificing anything. Like, you want to do something, then, well, I don't
not,
know. Maybe he
I'd
does.
be
Like,
fine. I'm fine with McAfee. I'm talking about the risk of like, oh, I might get arrested and go to jail. And I said, well, that's exactly what you want. That would be the best possible situation.
so you're
That's
right.
more,
Yeah, so it's not a
yeah,
risk, and that Kokesh does that a lot. Like,
yeah.
he's been to prison at least a couple times, and and you're right that it is interesting to think that, well, he's not really sacrificing anything. That's his job.
No,
That's how he
yeah.
makes a living.
The only bad part about being in prison for like a week is that then you get fired from your job. And that like this
But
is
that
his
is his
job.
job, right? Yeah, no, I still love Adam Kokesh, but it is interesting to think of it in that way. And I don't know, yeah, I'll keep that in mind whenever these kind of people come up. So hey, one last question, but before we do advice of the week, real quick, we're already at our hour mark. But hey, one last question is just bringing Bitcoin into this John McAfee thing. Like, is that part like we already said? Like, oh, if you're not really running for president, like it's kind of dumb, but I mean, whatever. As long as you're not trying to take a ton of money from people and stuff like that. But let's go ahead and toss Bitcoin into the mix now. Like, is that at least cool? Like, all right, yeah, let's go ahead and promote Bitcoin. Or is that bad for Bitcoin? Because we have had a couple conversations lately about like, actually, do we really want Bitcoin to be mainstream? Do we really care if it's mainstream? So so yeah, if John McAfee is going to go on the campaign trail and blast Bitcoin at people, good or bad? Helpful, not helpful, anything?
I don't think it can hurt. I think it's just kind of a different way to. Well, never mind. It could hurt, but the people who are going to be swayed by it either way, I don't think would have made a different decision. Like it's just going to push the people who are already like, well, this is just creepy, kooky internet money in one way, and then the other people are like, this guy's nuts. I really want to get involved with this. Yeah, I don't see it being anything super negative to me, but I also have no real respect for a political discourse. So I can, if you have any kind of a thing where you're like, this should be serious and it's ridiculous the way that certain politicians act nowadays, then I could see you being bothered by it. But I don't. The more you can make that whole thing like a circus, the better to me.
Got it. Hey, this is my advice of the week. One of the things that makes it a circus to me, or it makes me laugh and kind of mocks the whole thing, is I'm sure there's T-shirts and stickers and all kinds of stuff that say this, but or memes and whatnot. But the whole idea of voting for nobody, because nobody, that candidate named nobody, he'll listen to you. He'll keep his promises. Nobody will definitely keep his promises.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody will make you happy. So vote for nobody because he's the best. So that's my advice of the week. Vote for nobody.
Vote for nobody, and then you won't be able to complain. Yeah, my advice: don't go out and register to vote. I don't know. Read like a book. Make some money for yourself. Make your money for somebody else in your life. Do something else with the time that you would
Take a
spend.
real risk.
Yeah, do that, or do something with the time that you would spend registering to vote and then going to vote, instead of going and watching a bunch of dumb old ladies volunteer their time to go, oh, I'm just helping out with the ballots. I'm helping out with democracy. Um, if you do, because I was thinking about this recently, I was like, I looked it up if it was illegal for me to drive past a vote polling station and tell the people they're stupid or something like that. So maybe go do that. Or not that they're stupid. Drive by and be like, get your hands off my money or something like that. Because that is what this
Yeah.
all kind of boils down to, is deciding where your money gets thrown into. So if
Yeah.
you're going to do anything, just ridicule people in the streets. No, but be nah, I won't tell you to be civil, but don't get caught up in any of the ads. Don't get this kind of weird, oh, we're superior to them because we believe this certain kind of creed of progressivism or conservatism, and that makes us human, and these people aren't. Everybody, we're all humans, we're all people, and even if it's an animal, you shouldn't treat them that badly. So yeah, be nice to be nice to each other. That was basically my advice from the show that I did earlier this week.
Hey, one more piece of advice. This is to all you politicians out there listening to us. You always see whatever it is, like fundraisers in general. Like you always see like Wikipedia is like, hey, if everyone reading this gave $3, we'd be fine for like a year. Or whatever. If you really like homeless animals and rescuing them, fine. Give your money to that too. I really don't care. But all I'm trying to say is, or pick. You could pick homeless people. Those are great people to support too. instead of dumping literally millions of dollars into some freaking TV ad campaign. I read another article, so I know I'm dragging it out here a bit, but I laughed at this, so I'm going to tell you what happened. I read an article about like these cities in, I don't know, like Kansas or something, or Illinois, I don't know. Like there's a TV broadcast area that like crosses state lines. So what happens is these candidates dump a ton of money into this advertising, but only half the people that see these ads are in the right state to vote for those candidates. So all that does is like it just means that half the money they spent is wasted, but they have no choice because they have all this money and they need to advertise in this area, so they also have to advertise in the next state and get nothing out of it. So anyway, point is they dump millions of dollars into these ads, and instead of asking everyone reading Wikipedia to give $3, how about just like one or two of these politicians drops out and gives money to Wikipedia or the animal shelter or the homeless shelter or their next door neighbor that they can see is struggling and needs to I don't know needs friggin' a new car. Just do something decent with your money instead of just wasting half of it on the next state over. Please, please, please. That's my advice. Okay. I don't really care that much about animal shelters. Like, yeah, I want animals to be happy and healthy, but I want humans to be happy and healthy more than I want animals to be happy and healthy. I'm sorry if I just triggered you, but still, I'm totally fine. If you're going to drop out of a race and give all your money to the animal shelter, by all means, please do that. Okay, we are well beyond our time. We have zero kin in the chat just now, so all we get to do is say hello and goodbye to you. But thanks for joining us. Make sure you rewind to the beginning if you're just joining us, and have a great listen. In the meantime, until we're back next week, the place to be, as always, is you, me, and btc.com just the website. I think you can find anything you need. If you're going to come back next Thursday, the place to be is /live. You, me, and btc.com/live. All right. I think that's it for me. You good, Tim?
Yep. Bye, guys. Don't vote.
Have fun. We love you. Peace. Oh, I did this again. My bad. This is my goodbye. I'm leaning back. Tim, every time we go off the air, Tim's like, "Oh, you did it again." So now I have to make a formal excuse. Like it's just I know it's an accident. This is just me waving a little weird. Anyway, bye. I love you.